of fame. Let's go.
You are now watching 14A Sports on 15MOFE.com.
Oh, welcome back to the 14A Sports Radio Show. I thought you were going to get a little...
Yeah,
Should have talked about that.
That would have
we got a strong man here.
All right. As you can see, our second guest of the night is here at the table. Everybody welcome Adam Signoretta to the house.
Welcome aboard, Adam.
What's up, Adam?
Well, clearly you didn't wear any sleeves, so
They were stolen.
I cut them off just for tonight.
Nice.
intimidation.
He's also dressed to the nines.
I mean, good?
Yeah, we go.
Sure?
All right, your go-to right now. You're a personal trainer, but you've also done bodybuilding competitions, huge weightlifting competitions. How did this all come about?
Well, I got into it when I was about 12.
Really,
actually.
that long? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's when I was 12. I used to get picked on a lot. I was chubby, and,
Are you serious?
Yeah, one of the
Ah.
main culprits was the older brother. So started working out. So I could
Whooping
defend
his
myself,
ass, huh?
kick his ass. Never happened. So, about 12 years old, got into it. Just working out in the basement. 2.5 hours a day. Had no clue what I was doing. Then, come 17. When I was 17, I really got into it, and that was when I got into some trouble. Got put on house arrest for some bad things that I did. And,
It wasn't you. You're innocent. You're innocent.
Always.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Always. So, when I was 17, just really got into it, got myself in shape, and then come 19 was when I was actually in the form.
I remember
gym.
when you started that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the urinal actually, and I'm standing there. I'm like,
Well, I don't remember that part.
Yeah, the hell you don't.
And then seen the thing get certified as a trainer. So I had no intentions of becoming a trainer up until that point. So that's when I really just jumped into it and got certified. Waited the last week to actually take the test. I wasn't even going to do that. I was doing demo work, and got into it. Got the job at the Forum, and since then, just everything's been taken off as far as training. Been in the business 10 years now. Acquired a couple of different certifications and everything like that. But as far as bodybuilding goes, got into that on a bet, a dare.
Really?
Yeah, one of the guys that worked there, just didn't think that I'd be able to do the diet for a week, and did that. Did my first show when I was about 21, and did 12 since.
Nice. Now, run us through one of these shows. I mean, they look absolutely ridiculous with all the muscles rolling around there. There's a lot of big dudes there. I mean, were you very intimidated going into that your first time?
You gotta shave everything and whatnot.
Yeah,
That sounds like a painful part of it.
Yeah, actually, first time doing it, never really shaved and had to do all that stuff. So actually, I got used Nair the first time, and you put that in the wrong place. It's not a good
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Your eyes.
nah, a little lower. Yeah, you get them on the
Kneecaps.
nips, a little lower than that, good. So yeah, did the Nair, and then it's all the spray tanning and everything like that. So it was it's real feminine part of bodybuilding.
So you're a bodybuilder guy. So what weight class do you go into, or what give us? I don't know anything about that. So give us a little breakdown about the bodybuilding culture, or how how do you do that?
Well, when you do bodybuilding, they have natural shows and unnatural shows, basically.
So kids
it's
on
either-
juice.
Yeah, so it's drug tested or non-tested.
Okay.
So the non-tested's a little different. They go,
And
their
you're
weight class.
untested. I'm sorry. You're not You're not juiced.
No,
Drug-free.
I did.
Drug-free.
I did.
Well, that's the
natural
way to
shows.
be. We all had dare. No.
Yeah, exactly. So I did natural shows.
I
I
was
did
asleep during that
I
one.
skipped that part.
the first show I actually did though. It was a non-tested show. So the guys I went up to were ridiculously large. The weight classes go. I was about 176 pounds. So that's the cutoff for middle class. So the guy next to me was 5'2", 176 pounds. I'm 5'9", 176 pounds.
Wow.
So
Wow.
He's a lot thicker than you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I placed fourth in that one, and then over the years I put weight on. So now I compete. My last show I actually competed at 210 pounds. So over the course of 9 years, I went up in weight a lot in the weight classes and everything like that. But still, I'm 5'9". You get guys 5'2", 225 pounds next year. They're going to be, it's ridiculous. And these guys, they're on a ton of stuff, all this, the steroids, and it's a little intimidating at first. But, once you get on stage, you do all this work, and then you're on stage for 5 minutes in your little Speedo, and and then at night, it's the worst part is the night show, because that's one thing that I hate. You actually have to do a routine to music, so it's like
Wait, you got a formal wear segment?
Come on, let's see a little
What
something.
do we do here? Let's see.
Keep the clothes on,
Yeah.
but let's see a little something.
exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't Chippendales, ladies. All right.
Actually,
The ladies in the crowd go wild.
you could
You gotta
actually
pay for that
pull
shit
up
here.
the routines that I have, online. I have on the YouTube and everything.
What do
There
we
was
search?
one. If you look up, it's a Signoretta would just be the thing on YouTube that you got to look up. And there was actually one show I did where I didn't have a routine or the music prepared, so they had
Go
to
do a
out there.
handstand or something.
They were like, we're gonna pick a song for you, and I was like, all right, anything, maybe some.
The sprinkler.
Living in La Vida Loca.
It was worse than that. It was I told them to throw some rock on or something. They were like, all right, yeah. And then what came on was "Come On, Baby." It was some shit like that.
Light my fire?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I did a quick 30-minute routine. Just got off stage, man.
30 minutes, huh?
30 seconds.
seconds.
My
That's
fault.
Walsh's routine
Yeah.
also.
So Adam,
30 minutes.
obviously, you compete against these guys that obviously, they're bigger than you. Did you ever have an inkling of doing steroids or any substance enhancers?
Hey.
Did I ever come across?
Hey,
you?
hold on, to cut you
Oh,
off
yeah.
real quick. Let's take a call real quick. We'll get back to that question in
Go
a
ahead,
second.
caller.
Hey, caller, welcome to the 14A Sports
Hello.
Radio Show. Who's this?
Hello, this is Remy.
Hey, Remy, what's going on, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. You got a question for our guest, Adam?
Did you ever shoot a piece of meat, Remy? Remember that movie?
Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, how's everything, bud?
Good. How are you?
All right. Well, what's your question?
My question is, I don't have a question, actually.
Then why are you calling us?
I don't know. I guess that's the number.
All
Well,
right.
we appreciate it. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for the support. Little something.
You're welcome.
Little something for the callers. If you're gonna call, be prepared. Let's not have this.
Can we do the Francesca hand wave?
Yeah. This is not a.
Dismiss. Get him out of here. Dismiss.
This is not a minor league radio
All
show
right, so
going on here.
Yeah.
No, we've graduated.
Yeah. So, all right, Adam, going back to that question. Obviously, you compete against guys that are bigger than you. Did you ever have did you ever consider doing, essentially performance-enhancing drugs?
Yeah, it always crosses your mind. You always want to do it. It's, it makes you. I wouldn't even say it makes things easier, because these guys that do it, they still bust their ass. They're still working really hard on what they're doing. But it does change the dynamics of what you would be doing, the diet and everything like that. But if you take it, doing it, it's cost a lot of money. It's can also injuries are a big part of it too. You could get injured, and I already have a lot of injuries from doing. I do bodybuilding. I do strongman competitions and also powerlifting.
Well, for
and, try to get one in a year.
What's your typical diet then leading up to competition?
Diet is a lot of myth out there. So, people tell you certain foods are better than others. So, a typical diet for me isn't necessarily, the same day in, day out. I'll wake up and have, say maybe 2 eggs, a couple egg whites on a whole wheat bagel, or and ham, and cheese. Like you could have stuff like that. Yeah, which is a lot of people are like, oh well, you can't do that. Watch your sodium intake. But my sodium intake, one show that I did was 8,000 milligrams a day, and for most people, they tell you, don't watch your sodium. You got to drink a lot of water, and you can only have oatmeal or specific types of carbs, which is crap, because there's no type of there's no magic food. You're not going to eat a food that's going to make you lose any more weight. It all has to do with calories in, calories out. So, even throughout the day, I'd have, tacos. You could get lean meat
Nice.
and, have tacos.
Love
You
me
could
some
have-
tacos.
You could have, like,
Yeah, well, you got to burn them though, Walsh. That's what he's saying.
I heat them up.
there's a lot of different ways that you could go about
So you're
your
talking
diet.
about calorie in, calorie out. When you're training, what's your caloric deficiency, or what's your calorie in, and what do you feel like you burn with? What do you have a deficiency? You can't have a deficiency at that weight, can you?
Yeah, you actually, you need to, when you're dropping weight for a contest, it's called contest prep. You need to, you can't worry about putting muscle on. That's what the off season's for. So what you want to do is you want to drop your
So
body
this is
fat.
what we call cutting.
Yeah, you just want to
Exactly.
cut up. Right.
So you want to cut,
Tone
and
it.
the way to do that is by gradually decreasing your calorie intake. So it's 1 week, you might have to cut your carbs.
So give us a number. What kind of numbers we talking about?
When I start my diet, my protein is about 275 grams per day, which is like
That's
most people
a crazy
think.
amount.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a crazy amount.
For most people, they'll tell you, oh, well, do 2 times as much. Do 400 grams or something like that.
You want to take a call, Adam?
Yeah, we're taking another call.
I'm gonna take a call.
Let's hope this one's legit. Welcome to the 14A Sports Radio Show. Who's this?
This is John. I'm calling for Adam the Barbarian. I have to ask him a couple
There you go. What's up, John? What's your question?
questions. All right. First question is, I want to ask Adam, what is the positives of HGH and the negatives?
Positive
Good question.
is
You know what?
HGH.
That's an excellent question, John. I agree.
HGH.
John. So, but how about we get a little background on John? So, John, what's your status? Like, why are you looking to do HGH?
I'm going to hit 30 years old, and I heard my testosterone and the normal HGH that my body produces drops.
You're not trying to
so
make it
I
to the
wanna
NBA
know,
or anything?
Would that be a good look, and would it help me out in the long run to take it?
Well, I think HGH, if you're going to do anything, HGH is probably one of the best things that you could do as far as health. As long as you take you don't take too much of a high dosage, that would be something that would benefit you. And if your levels are low, then that causes some problems as far as non related to working out, but it could mess with your natural growth. And so you might want, if they are low, then by all means go for it. Only downfall with HGH is you could get bone deformity, and
Really?
meaning one side of your forehead could grow bigger than the other. But
Oh, that's not too bad.
that's if you take real high dosages.
It's like Barry Bonds when his head
Oh,
grew
my
a
God.
size and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
John, you got another question?
Yeah, one more question
All
is, now, what do you think is it? How can you get more cut? Do you lift heavy weights and try to move up so you gain strength, or do you do light weights and more reps to get cut?
Good question,
What do you
John.
think is the best?
Well,
All right, John, we're going to let
question,
you go, but listen to this.
Appreciate
Thanks.
you calling in.
Thanks
Good
for the
questions,
call.
John.
We'll answer.
Yeah, well, that is a good question. That's the question that a lot of people ask, and high reps is probably just one of the biggest myths. When you are trying to build muscle or hypertrophy, it all has to do with time under tension or the duration that you actually do an exercise. So it'd be about 35 to 45 seconds is the range that you want to do the actual exercise. So the reason why people say do up to about 15 reps is because they rush through the movement. So if you actually do a proper tempo, then lower reps are going to be best, and especially for women who don't produce testosterone like men do, the heavier weight is definitely the best way to go.
All right. Now, let's get into your weightlifting. Your YouTube video is absolutely tremendous. I see you up there going at 530 pounds, stuff like that. I mean, the things you're lifting are ridiculous. What is the most weight that you've ever lifted?
For a deadlift off the ground?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
exercise are we talking about?
That's the deadlift. Most I did was 630 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
What?
And now, do
That's
you
this
do,
table.
do you do powerlifting, competing
Yeah.
on a deadlift specifically, or do the 3 lifts?
Yeah, it's all. We always say, if you do deadlift only, that's like being a bodybuilder and say, I'm going to specialize in the front double bicep, and that's the only fucking pose I'm going to do. So
Amateurs.
yeah, exactly. So if you want to be a true power lifters do all three
Hey, listen,
lifts.
we got the calls are blowing up.
They're buzzing. Let's see what we got here. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. Who's this?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Marcos. I
Let's
go
go.
by the name of Con1. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? I see you here on the chat room.
Yes.
What's up? You got a question, Conwan?
Yes, most definite, man. I know Adam for a little while now. I met him through his brother Justin. Great family.
Yep.
One of my original friends in Bayonne. And I've seen his transition. He went from cool pudgy guy to Vin Diesel / Rock.
Were you the one? Were you the one picking on him?
Nah, he always took care of me.
All right, all right. Then you're cool with the 14A sports race.
I mean, he took care of everyone. You know, I'll never forget that. You know, and whether people's houses burned down or someone like me just wanted to hang out and drink unlimited iced tea. You know,
You got unlimited iced tea and you didn't bring any? What the hell?
they just had it packed. You know, I came from those empty fridges. But anyhow, if I just want if you can take this opportunity to give some motivation for individuals who are looking to do a transition, more like yourself, or I know that it happened during a hard time, or what I can only imagine. During that time. But for someone who just wants to motivate themselves and take it to a higher level, like what can you tell the masses?
Hey, let
Thank
me
you
just
very
say,
much.
hey, that was tremendous. And if you ever want to be on the radio, you're more than welcome. That was a tremendous lead and a great question.
All
So
right.
we appreciate your phone call.
Jack, we're gonna hang up though, but you can still listen online for the answer. All right, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Good
thank
hearing
you.
from you, Marcos.
All right.
Thanks.
That was a great question, Adam.
Great guy. Great guy.
call. Good call.
Actually, I wrote a book on.
You wrote a book?
Yeah, it's
Woo! No pop-ups.
Is it on Amazon?
Nah, it's an ebook. It's called "Be as Strong as You Look." It's a handbook for bodybuilders with pride. So it goes into how most powerlifters are considered fat and lazy, and most bodybuilders are considered weak. So I put together a program that's called Power Hypertrophy. So it has to do with a couple of days of powerlifting, a couple of days of bodybuilding per week. But I actually cover motivation in that. It's all about the lifestyle that you have to live when you're doing bodybuilding. So motivation, that's when you do have tough times, it is mentally draining and everything. You gotta you cut your social life out, and your financial situation isn't going well because you're spending all this money on your training, and it is tough. So what always kept me motivated was just it always was a lot of people that doubted me, never thought that I'd be able to do a bodybuilding show. Like I said, in the beginning, the reason why I got into it was I used to get picked on. So that's one reason. So always just wouldn't let anybody get the upper hand on me again, or I was dared to do it because the person didn't think that I'd be able to do it 1 week. So I wound up taking that 1 week, turning it into a 9-year carear in bodybuilding.
Tremendous. So now, Adam, when you take a client, right, that may not be so motivated as obviously you are, how do you take that? How do you inspire them?
Well, what happens, when you meet a client for the first time, it's all about building that connection and figuring out, what is going to drive that person and why that person's actually there. Because most of the time they'll give you some, BS reason why they're actually coming to you, and you got to get into their head and figure out exactly what's going to motivate somebody.
A little psychologist there.
Yeah,
too,
well,
huh?
I do a lot of cover a lot of that too in the articles that I write and the books
That's
and
tremendous.
everything like that.
And
But
where can we find those articles?
actually, my Facebook is covered with articles.
Tremendous.
We have actually our training crew, Hellbent Training,
Nice.
is.
Hold up there. You're on
yeah,
it. You're
that's,
on it.
yeah.
You're on it.
Get that plug in,
We
baby.
have our fan page, so I got a really good training crew, so that does keep me
Awesome.
motivated. But we also I post the articles up there. I also wrote for a real prominent powerlifting site, which is EliteFTS.com. So I have
Nice.
several articles up there. They're pretty much all over the internet. Google the name.
Well, one of the
they'll
stories
pop up.
coming to 14A. I mean,
Well, we could work that out. I'd be happy.
Yeah, we were talking a
We don't-
little
we
bit
don't
about
pay.
this, but that was at the St. Patty's Parade, so you know things come flying and going. By the
that
way,
was,
so
that was a completely different interview. I think I was just
I've seen that. I've seen that.
popping up, yelling, and yeah. Well, I don't really remember that too much. But
AJ's interview was the best.
that was good.
yeah.
All right, so we got a question from the chat room. Another guy named John. He says, now that you've had all this success, what motivates you right now to keep going?
Right now it's probably one of the toughest points in my life. So motivation now is it is tough, even for myself. There's days when you wake up in the morning, you don't even want to get out of bed. But I do it for my family, the people that always believed in me. So
Well, I'm sure too. I was talking with Pat earlier today. We were talking about doing what we're all doing. Pat has the basketball camp that he's doing. We have the radio show, and I'm sure like with stuff like that, that's stuff that we really love to do. I know me and Pat, we're not killing it at the bank right now with all this stuff, but it takes time to do that. I know that's what you were saying. And, you just got to have that belief in yourself and. It takes a lot of hard work, especially when you run your own business or something like that. So
motivation definitely one of the biggest keys, man.
Self-motivation.
Exactly, and when I used to do it, I always did it for my ex-wife. Was when we were married. Everything that I did was for her, and we just got divorced, and. So it was a tough time, and now I got to rethink my motivation. What's going to keep me motivated? And
now it's all about you.
Exactly.
That's
so
it, man.
if you're going to rely on somebody else or put what you're doing and do it for other people, then one day that person's not going to be there. So
right.
All you got is yourself, and you have to do it for yourself. And I do it just to. Give me a reason to be living.
All right.
It's like
Absolutely. So Adam, obviously you're a personal trainer. So we're kind of in the beat season now, right? So I don't know how. Let me ask you. Let me start with this. What do you think? You're obviously a powerlifter, bodybuilder. What do you think of this whole cross training idea? It seems to be spreading across. Into the fitness circles. What do you think of that?
CrossFit, I think it's crap.
Really?
Don't hold back. Tell us
In
how you
the
really feel.
face, CrossFit.
Why?
Well, CrossFit,
Somebody's gonna kick
all they
your
did
ass.
was they took what a real man actually does for lifting and made it sissified by
They yuppied it up.
Yeah, they took Olympic lifts that take years to master, and they grab somebody off the street, give them a weekend course on how to do these lifts, and then these people teach them how to do it, and most of the time people get hurt. And I think it was one of the chiropractors I know said that his business went up 80% since CrossFit.
Wow.
Really?
So a lot of people get injured, and there's no structure to it, and they even the people that initially got involved in it, like I think it was Mark Ripito, which is one of the guys that got involved in it and stepped away from it because they made it all, again, sissy.
Notes.
Okay. Well then, we're pussy.
How about-
Wait. I gotta follow up. Okay. All right. So then, what kind of program would you put, say, a novice fitness
Like
person
me.
involved in?
Me.
Well, when
Yeah,
it-
the
when it
beer belly
comes-
guy.
Yeah, I got the beer belly. I
Right.
got an A
So
man.
they-
I got
so-
A man boobs.
Someone comes to you like that. Maybe a prior athlete, but someone not in great shape.
Say, let's just say me.
They're
Let's
not.
just say me
They're
for
not
all
dead
intents and
They're
purposes.
not deadlifting.
Your average guy.
They can barely squat.
Well,
Where do you go?
Only on
where
the
do you go
toilet.
with that?
Well, when no matter who it is, no matter who I get, no matter what their fitness level is, whether they're a beginner or an advanced, athlete, they all have to start through the beginning phases, which is corrective exercise. That's one of the areas that I specialize in. So you got to teach them proper
Teach
movement.
them how to do the right thing.
Exactly. So they got to learn how to move properly. But anybody that's coming in and hasn't been in the gym for a while, what they should start to do is work on proper technique. And when doing proper technique, you keep the reps fairly low, about 5 reps. They should do more of a full body workout. Start with the main basic movements. You got your deadlift, you got your bench press or overhead press. Overhead press would be more functional, and also pull-ups, things like that to start. So you want to start your full body.
All right. Now, how about me and Rich? We are not gym rats whatsoever. We do not do that. We are not about that life. But for us,
They're radio aficionados.
Yeah. Listen, when you're on the radio, you hardly get seen. But basically, for people who aren't going to lift and stuff like that, what kind of things should we be eating? And we'll start with that. What should we be eating?
Well,
and not eating, more important.
Say,
right.
Say you went to a barbecue, right? And for the most part, everybody wants to drink their beer, eat their burgers.
Not this crowd.
Like that.
So.
But say you were following a diet plan or something like that, you want to make room for when you go to that barbecue. So you want to make sure, like I said, it's total calories for the day.
Right.
So if you went there, what you want to do is ration your carbs or figure out how you're going to do that. So people tend to say, well, drink hard liquor. Well, hard liquor, that's great, but alcohol is the problem. Right. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram, and that's not going to go anywhere. So if you're going to drink. There's no real clean way to drink.
If we're going to do JMOs, we're going to do JMOs.
Exactly. But, say...
And we will.
When it comes to your beer choices, you figure, all right, well, you drink light beer, right? Say, what is that, Miller 64 or some crap like that, right?
Miller Lite.
Yeah. So say it takes 3 of those to feel anything, where you have 1 beer of what you normally drink. What's your favorite beer?
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. So Miller Lite isn't even that bad. I think Miller Lite has 60 calories anyway. It's pretty good. Well, no, Miller 64. Sorry, that would be Miller 64.
Right.
So
it's like 120.
Yeah. So say you have your 120.
It's like drinking a Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I think it's
a
probably
fun Coca-Cola.
So say it has 5 carbs.
I say Coca-Cola, not Coke.
Oh, you do your Coke before you go, then you're really not.
You don't eat anything.
You lose lots of weight that way.
Then you won't eat. So then you're good. But if you're gonna drink your beer, drink your beer. Try to limit it. To say you're allowed 40 grams of carbs.
25
for when you go there. You have your 5 beers. Then you're looking at 25 grams of carbs, something like that. Then you could have your hamburger. Go for something like try to get ground, lean ground meat. They go up to 92%, I think. Or go with a turkey burger, or they have turkey sausage, things like that.
Okay.
But, bread, the whole wheat's better than white bread. No,
well, that's the whole thing. Back to
killer,
there's
right?
no magic food. What it comes down to is the calories.
Right.
If you say just for argument's sake, you have you're allowed 2,000 calories for the day, and you have 500 calories that you're allowed to have at the barbecue, and say 300 calories of that is all from your beer, right? So then you go to have your burger, and say a whole wheat burger, say the whole wheat has 150 calories in it, and the regular roll has 90. All right, so that's an extra 60 calories for the whole wheat, when you could be saving that 60 calories for another beer.
Right.
So again, it goes down to calories in.
Intake,
exactly.
So basically, we should just be doing Coke.
Hold on, I have a question. I'm looking at your arms right next to my arm, and as you can see, I have a really hairy arm.
And I get the gauge. Right?
How
It's coming.
did that hurt to
What's
shave your arm like that?
No, actually, I just shaved it today.
Wow.
I got what's called a body buzzer. So
I thought we were going with size of arms or something. There.
Yeah,
What the?
nah, actually,
You look like you're
How
right.
could I compare
You look
my
like you're
arms?
right on track to be tapping somebody like Copeland from.
Whoa!
Not you.
like I was saying about the hair situation, you pick
Walsh
up
is listening.
tips along the way. So no
Right.
more nair. Use a body buzzer. So it's a lot easier to do that.
All right. We're getting ready to close out the interview here now. Do you ever see yourself doing any of these ESPN strongman competitions or anything like
Yeah, I
that?
actually did one in April.
Oh, nice.
Get out.
How'd that go?
Really?
I won.
Won it.
Nice.
No shit. Did you really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's how we do.
Congrats.
Representing the 14A.
Yeah. Thank you.
If next time you do it, will you wear a 14A shirt?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
Nice.
Speedo, if we could get you one.
Richie would love that.
All right, so we had 2 quick questions from the audience, and then we'll wrap this up. One, what muscle groups are the best to work out together on a weekly schedule?
It depends on what your, what type of program you. Or
So I
what
think
your goals
most people are asking general fitness. So do you adhere to like the one muscle group per day or like a total body thing? I think that's where the question's geared at.
If you're generally, if you're not a bodybuilder, then you shouldn't break things up in body parts. You should break them up in movements. So, you have a good way to do it is upper body one day, lower body the next day, or you do the front side of the body, which would be push muscles, and pull muscles the next day, which would be your backside. That's a lot better for athletes doing upper or lower, so you're able to incorporate your sport. Okay. So if you're not a bodybuilder, stay away from body parts.
All right, and I think everybody in the world has this question, but what is the best way to get abs quickly?
Stop drinking beer.
Yeah, well, like they always say, abs are made in the kitchen. Doing abs is a waste of time. I actually have an article called Abdominal Time
Get
Waster.
out.
So
Doing any ab exercise is a waste of time.
yeah, it's like if you
But
Just wasted a lot of time.
But but doing any ab exercise when you're not. But is that for bodybuilders?
It's for anybody. Like it's like this. If I put my hand over his face, what's stopping you from seeing his face? My hand. So what you got to do? Move my hand, right? It's like if you can't see your abs, there's fat over it. How do you get to see your abs? Get rid of the fat. So
I like that.
if you have,
man.
Just do me a favor. Keep your hand over his face.
Well, you know
the
what?
rest of the show. Please.
Enough of this free information. Shit like that you got to be charging for. Right there.
Actually, real funny. I was texting Adam, like the directions to get here and everything today. He accidentally sent me like a whole workout plan that's like usually goes for like $150 to clients. So guess what I'm giving away to the audience tonight? Free workout tips.
I got to tell you, with his hand in front of my face, I was like fearing getting knocked out. Or something. What's he gonna
His
do?
hand in
What's he
front
gonna
of your
do?
face. I was feeling a lot better.
well, real quick.
Shut up.
The ab
That's
thing
not
series
nice.
to answer that. It's a combination of weight training, cardio, nutrition, and you also need a plan. So you need a plan. That's when you contact me.
So how do we contact you?
Well, email is AM Signoretta, so it's SIGNORETTA at AOL.com.
Right.
You could go on, find me on Facebook. It's Adam Michael Signoretta, and like our fan page, which is Hellbent Training. Got a lot of good training partners. We're always looking to
Want
add
to see
to
the
the
lights
crew.
tonight?
Uh-oh.
Awesome, awesome.
Is that an open invitation?
Yes, it is.
He'll invite himself anywhere. Be
you
careful.
guys want to join?
Not to Jim.
We
no.
I want
Let the work
to
in.
also shout out to Skibber's Gym, which is a non-profit gym that we have down in Carteret. It's very ran by a very nice guy. He's
Awesome.
Does that mean it's free?
yeah, well, it's non-profit. You want to
Up
donate?
our alley.
You donate to the facility. It is a West Side barbell-backed gym facility. It's down in Carteret.
Tremendous.
All right.
And also, I work out of New York Sports Club in Clifton. Also, we'll be in Bayonne.
Okay.
And I also work out at Impact Fitness, which is in Bayonne, New Jersey as well.
Yep.
That's great.
All right. All right, Adam. Well, thank you for coming on tonight.
buddy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Great
it.
time.
It's good seeing you, man.
All right, we got you. All right, we're gonna get into
We'll
a
work on
video.
these later.
Yeah, we're gonna get into a video quick right now. This one's from Fiction Down 20. Our boys out of Baltimore. This one's called Down Like Hip Hop. And when we come back, we're gonna spend a couple special minutes with our pal Ty Nitty. We're gonna be talking about the world of sports. 14A Sports, 50 Minutes of Fame Radio. We'll be back after this.
15 minutes of fame. Let's go.